Okay, just making sure that this is all in place, testing for audio glitches, effects, and see how we do. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is the Mix777. I'm having a really simple day. iTunes is acting up on me. I just went out for a run and I have blisters on my left foot. What am I going to do? Soundtrack reviews, because there's nothing better to do. I am back, and I'm ready to go. Soundtrack I'm going to be doing this time. Jumping back a few steps from the Halo Complete Collection, I will be doing the first soundtrack I ever got in my new collection, so to speak. I'm going to be doing the A-side, once again, so to speak, of the Extra arranges. The Extra arranges, as a little historic background, were released in the year 2009. They're Japanese exclusive, and they were only released to players who managed to pre-order the Japanese Xbox 360 game Ketsui, Kizuna Jigoku Tachi Extra, the new Xbox 360 port released in Japan following the dismal port that was Dodonpachi Daiju Black Label Extra. The soundtrack today is actually pretty rare and pretty good, not to mention that, and, well, in short, I happen to have it right here. I will be starting with this side, the Ketsui side, the A side to the Extra ranges. So, let us begin. What I think is interesting about these discs is that their patterns on the disc art are pretty similar to the effects by the true final boss in the EX stage, or stage 2.5 if you want to get technical. Specifically, the Extra CD. Nice lighting. For the record, I moved. Just so you know. Different surrounding, not a coincidence. How you can see it's all pointed lines. This is very similar to Evac and Your Doom's third attack, the radial attack. So, with the little cover artwork out of the way, let's begin. This is really going to hurt my hand, much like the Halo disc, so what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to put it back right now and just hold up the actual artwork. This will make my job a lot easier and this review a lot less tedious. So, the Ketsui side comes with the entire layout of the original soundtrack released in 2002 in the Daiju and Ketsui combination pack with one extra song. Literally, it's an extra song. The song is titled Extra and it is the main menu. What's cool about the main menu song is that it incorporates themes from stages 1, 2, 3, and 5. I'll get to those stage names in a moment. These are considered by the fans to be the most authentic arranges of the Ketsui soundtrack, dating back to 2002, with YouTube links up to see the originals, or listen to the originals rather. They're pretty accurate. My one gripe I will get to in a second, but that's way into this, or not very far actually, I'll take that back. So let's begin. The official track list, I'll be looking at it from the disc now. Track 1, Extra, plays at the main menu after you load up the game. It includes sampled and mixed versions of stages 1, Interception, 2, Suburb, 3, Canal Fleet, and 5, Evac Industry. It's really interesting, and it's really good music for just casual listening, for thinking, like I do. Then we get to track 2, Doomsday. Oh man, brings in the effective synthesizers to the Ketsui soundtrack. What's cool about the Ketsui arranges over the years, they've been done consistently and well. With exception to the Perfect Arrange and the Insanity DVD extras, which may come in the future sometime, I don't know. With exception to those, the Ketsui soundtrack has been consistently very well done, in its original forms and its various arranges, of which there have been 5 or 6. Track 2, Doomsday, is the ship select screen, which only plays for about 20 seconds, meaning that you cannot hear the entire song at all in the full video game. So it's kind of worthless, which is kind of an odd touch. But hey, I don't own Ketsui Extra, I don't own a Japanese Xbox, I'm not willing to drop $500 to import one. End of story, moving on to track 3. Interception, stage 1. Very, very well done in comparison to the original. What is interesting is, I don't know, it's really the introduction seems a lot lighter. With the original, the introduction was fast-paced, it got you into the game. With this one, it just seems to be too light-mooded. I doubt mooded is a word, but we're going to roll with it. And it rolls into the rest of the stages pretty nicely. If you were to make a medley out of stages 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you'd have a very good piece of music. It'd be really long, sure. It'd be about, I don't know, 20 minutes long and top just about any medley out there, even on iTunes. But it's very good. It's also recognized by the Grace Note music database, which is pretty odd seeing as it's an international release. Moving on to track 4, Darkened, the Boss theme. They tore this one up in a good way. What they did was essentially stretch out the track a bit longer, add more instruments to it, completely go nuts on guitar and synthesizer solos, and increase the speed of it, which is really a good effect. Ultimately, I think it's better than the original, which is really saying something, considering this was, I don't know how long in the works. There was the PS2 port of Ketsui that failed due to Stage 5's backward scrolling section, the DS port which used the basic soundtrack. Yeah, it's been a long time in the works, and it's pretty impressive that they managed to hit the nail on the head. Stage 2, Suburb. Very, very free-flowing song. It adds a few segments to it just before it loops over again, and ultimately it comes across as just slightly better than the original version. Some parts are less, some parts are more. It all comes down to personal preference. Track 7, Canal Fleet, Stage 3 with the Vinograd off. Excuse me for a second. I'm thirsty. What am I going to do? Diet Pepsi. What are you going to do? I'm more of a Coke guy. Anyway, no one heard that. Canal Fleet, Stage 3 is really monotonous. Even in the original version, it was kind of monotonous. So, it's easily one of the lesser tracks on the soundtrack. It's not bad. It's very good. They added a lot of cool instruments to it. A roaring, how cliche. A drum line, a guitar solo, extra synthesizer, and you've got a song. Nothing really changed here. Track 8, Defensive Line. This one was a huge improvement. You could tell that it was sort of grunge metal in the original rendition of Defensive Line, Lurking in the Dark. This one adds just the most amazing guitar riff to open the song, and then it gets a few solos that just tear the song up in so many good ways. It's an enjoyable listen. However, it's one of the longer tracks on the Arrange, so be prepared to be sitting down and listening to it for a while. Plus, it looped more than 2 times, 2.5, which is pretty crazy. Then we come to the longest piece of music in the Arrange, Evac Industry, Day of Judgment. The introduction is great. It's just that I never did like this song. It's kind of monotonous in the same vein as Canal Fleet, being track 7. But it's a very powerful song. You know that in the game you're at the end of the line. This is where it all comes down to the player's action. And there's a nice guitar solo later on in the song that really makes it worth a listen. Although you have to wait 2 or 3 minutes to go into the song to get there. So, ultimately length is the problem that most of these songs have in this Arrange. The B-side to the extra arranges is a really bad offender in this regard, but we'll get there another time. Track 10, Scaffold, Last Boss Theme, the battle with Evac and Ear. Very well done. Although the original is slightly better. Even the perfect arrange is slightly better than this. That's my problem with the extra arranges. In terms of all the Ketsui soundtracks, even the Black Label Arrange release in 2011 for Daifukatsu, the extra range just winds up falling short. It's really a pity. But it's a good song. Good song. It's a good song. I am Melorashin. It's a good song. It just falls short. It adds a lot of tension, much more than the original one in the 2002 release did. Then we get to the moment that everyone waits for, the true final boss theme, track 11, No Remorse. Once again, it doesn't stand out to any other renditions of No Remorse. The perfect arrange beats it, the original beats it, the 2011 rearranged release Rearranged release. Yeah, that's proper. That version beats it. It just falls short. Although this one is very good. It's very hectic. In a degree much higher than any other version. Even the Black Label Arranged version, which is pretty impressive. It adds just the most crazy drum lines and very nice guitars. If you're a guitar fanatic in video game music, you're gonna like No Remorse. It's kind of hard not to, anyway. Track 12, Last Words. Last Words, it's an okay ending theme. Personally, the one in Daioju way outclasses it. The best version of this one is in the Black Label Arranged release, in my opinion. IMO, for all you texting nerds out there. To which I don't approve of you. You're okay, I like you. But we're gonna move on. Anyway, Last Words, this one is interesting. It's really synthesizer heavy, and almost you could say electric piano or electric harp, if that even exists. It's really weird and it's kind of trippy. Ultimately, it's probably the worst rendition of the song. That's my one problem with this entire range. Hellfire, Game Over. They turned the original, like the character Scream from the original Game Over theme into just this really anguished cry. Like, you know that you lost when you hear track 13 in the game. I haven't played it, so I haven't heard it. I have played the DS version, and every course that you go through, you hear it, and it's kind of makes you feel like you're really defeated. So it serves a good purpose here, and it's a huge improvement over the only other version that it's ever had. Then you have Afterglow. Seinfeld music theme fans will rejoice at the slap bass guitar found in here. It really adds to the piece, gives it a backbone to function on, and then you have the synthesizer line that runs through the entire track. Very good way to end it. Probably the best rendition of the ending theme, besides the original. I'd say it's actually just a slight bit better than the original. All in all, since it's only half the extra range, I can't give it a full rating yet, but if it were to be a standalone release, I'd probably give it a 7. A 7 on the basis that some of the tracks, they loop too long, they're not as good as the originals by a long shot, they kind of fall below even other arranges, and ultimately it just doesn't stand up to others, such as the original, logically, the Perfect Arrange, which is really lopsided, believe me, and the Black Label Arrange release in 2011 that just blows everything out of the water. So it just falls short. But ultimately, it's okay. Me, I'm a guy that likes cave soundtracks. I've listened to Espgaluda, I've listened to Ketsui, I've listened to Dodonpachi in all of its releases except for the first one, which I am looking to invest in someday. I've listened to Guange, I've listened to Mushihime-sama, I've listened to just about all of them. Maybe not Akai Katana because I never got into the vertical instead of the horizontal shooter, but hey. All in all, if they ever do re-release Ketsui, which I highly doubt, seeing as how much of a cult classic it's become, I will probably want to invest in its newest arranged soundtrack, because this is definitely something that's going to keep you into the game for as long as you listen to the CD. That's my take on the A-side, Ketsui Extra. In the near future, when I get the chance, I will be doing, hopefully, if it's not Halo 2 Volume 1, the B-side, Dodonpachi Daioju Black Label Extra. This is going to make your head spin. If you listen to it, which I implore you to find clips of it on YouTube, you're going to be impressed. In some ways more than others. If I ever get to it in the near future, you'll see what I mean. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Kendrick out. End recording. Hold on yards. I will see you back in maybe undisclosed time. How about that? I'll see you in an undisclosed time with the B-side to this, or Halo 2 Volume 1. Adios.